Let's do stat of the day with Mike Schur. He is ready. He is joining us every day, hopefully until the end of times. At the end, as we are ravaged by drought and flood. The last thing I want anyone to hear is Mike Schur doing the stat of the day once again for another day on our show.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day.
Shohei Ohtani currently leads the Angels in both plate appearances and innings pitched this season. According to @Stats by Stats, the last player to lead his team in both categories for an entire season was Jim Devlin of the Louisville Grays in 1876.
It's every day with him, Mike. No, this is funny, though. On this beat, right, you can say that every day a statistic is being produced that hasn't produced since Heine O'Doul was a second baseman patrolling, the 1880s.
The Louisville Grays, a city that doesn't have a team and a team name that doesn't exist anymore when America was 100 years old.
I've got a couple of questions for you, and we urge you all to check out the podcast where you will get baseball and more. But I need to get caught up on a couple of things, Stugotz, that happened while I was away. Ozuna from the Braves. That whole story where you've got, I don't know whether you guys talked about it at all, but you've got a guy that I'm surprised is in the league, okay? I don't even know how it is. I guess it's union strength that Marcell Ozuna, who was great as a Marlin and then got traded, would find himself playing for the Braves and employable. Struck me as odd given the nature of the video and stuff around his crime. And then he gets pulled over for DUI, and he tries to get out of it with Ozuna from the Braves. Did you have any thoughts on all of that? Because he was a very good player for the Braves, and it doesn't seem to matter that that the Braves don't actually need him at all anymore.
Well, this is a classic case of talent lengthening your career through scandal, because he's excellent. And what he is charged with is incredibly serious. It was aggravated assault. He, I believe, grabbed his wife by the neck and threw her against a wall. And then there was some fishy thing with the investigating office, the DA's office, which said, no, this isn't, there's video of it. And they were like, well, it doesn't, add up to the charges don't match the video or something weird like that. He was suspended for a couple weeks, and then he sort of went back to playing baseball, and he's very good at baseball. And then he had a DUI earlier this month. The encouraging thing to me, if you want to try to find something encouraging in this classic case of an athlete just being allowed to continue to play through scandal, is when he came back, he was booed by the crowd. The Braves crowd booed him. And that's a rare thing. I think we all remember the horrifying scene of Ray Rice taking the practice field in Baltimore and getting a standing ovation for some reason. And in this case, there were audible boos when he came out onto the field, and that gave me a little bit of hope. But this is not a first offense for him. And I also was surprised and a little bit chagrined to find that they were just like, yeah, go ahead, play baseball again. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, except that we've seen this before. The sports leagues don't take things like domestic abuse or DUIs seriously until their hands are forced. The Matariza thing in Buffalo is the same situation, where they were like, we're doing the right thing in cutting him. It's like they knew about this months ago. So, it's another sad chapter in a continuingly sad saga in professional sports, which is that these teams will just get away with as much as they can get away with by not getting rid of these guys when they should.
But you're a comedy writer, and when I present to you his resume, when at 3 o'clock in the morning he's speeding and the officer is coming by the side of the car with video, and what you get is sloppy superstar reaching out of the car with his Major League Baseball identification with the license and saying, yeah, Ozuna from the Braves. Yeah. It really gives off like, hey, I get away with stuff in this town. I'm Ozuna from the Braves, even though, like, did you see what he already got away with? Like, the arrogance in it was chilling to me as you know, you would write that scene.
Well, he pulled the classic move. He pulled the "Do you know who I am?" move that so many guys have tried, and like they try it because it works occasionally. Like that world is not gone where you can say like, "Hey, you got to let me go. I'm an important professional athlete." And in this case, it didn't work, but like that they keep trying it because it keeps working. So until it stops working forever, those guys will keep trying it.
You can't be surprised that he pulls out the Ozuna card. Like that's sorry, that sounded bad.
That's $5.
Man, oh man.
Well, $5. I'll take it out of the $150 that you owe.
No,
it's actually $170 now. But you can't blame him for pulling out the Ozuna card. The Ozuna card's been working his entire life. Like
it's not. I can't blame him for pulling out the Ozuna card. I mean, it's staggering.
What do you think he would do in that situation? What else is he going to do? I'm not Ozuna. I mean, what helps him more?
The point is to try to not be in that situation.
Don't be Ozuna.
I understand that, but once you arrive in that situation, him pulling out the Ozuna card, right?
I'm laughing at it, Stugotz. Right. I am not surprised that he pulled it out. The arrogance in it is breathtaking. It is a thing to behold that you would be so arrogant as to think that your talents could overcome the resume that arrived at that drunken recklessness.
Can we also clear the air that it's not union strength? That's not why he's still playing baseball?
No, it's ownership hubris. By the way, can I clean up two things from yesterday?
Sure.
What happened?
Okay, here's thing number one.
Hubris?
I found the beautiful watercolor that Mina Kimes made of Jose Canseco getting hit on the head with
Thank
the
you.
baseball.
Please
really?
let us
Wow.
let us see it. Thank you.
Exciting.
Yes, this is we should be why are we not selling this for charity with Mina Kimes to help animals?
Because it's Mike's. He doesn't want to sell it.
Well,
donated to
but
charity
also
already.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it because I donated to charity. So I guess I could sell it for charity again.
You can't just pick Mike's possessions and start
Resale
selling
value
them off
goes
for
up,
charity.
though.
That's how you do it, Mike.
I think we should. I think we should like it's sort of like flipping a house. Turn it into a bigger charitable donation by flipping it.
But also, I don't want to give it up. It's amazing. Look at it.
It is nice.
It's a beautiful triptych that she painted just for me.
Dan, do you want me to go to your house? Do you want me to go to your house and start picking all your prized possessions, your prized collections of art, and be like,
Yes.
yeah, we should just give it away to charity?
I'll join you.
Yes. Yes.
The other thing is, you were talking yesterday about a theoretical situation in which I think Greg Cody would have a magic card that allowed him to get free Kentucky Fried Chicken for life or something like that.
Yes, Billy is working on that. I don't know why. We are now officially sponsored by KFC. I saw that we had a human interaction with KFC yesterday where a listener just went to KFC for the first time in many years, and the Colonel and his family thanked him personally on Twitter.
Okay, so this theoretical magic card that gives you free KFC for life. So my late father-in-law, Regis Philbin, had this for McDonald's. So he did an ad, I think, for McDonald's sometime in like the early 90s. And as part of the thanks for this, he was given like a gold, not real gold, but like a gold colored like credit card thing that said like this card entitles Regis Philbin to free McDonald's for life. And he loved this. And so when my wife was a child, they would be on like a car trip somewhere and he would see a McDonald's and he would get really excited and he would pull in to the McDonald's and he would go inside and he kept this thing with him in his wallet and he would rush up to the counter and they would order a bunch of Big Macs and stuff. And then he would go, look, I get free McDonald's for life. And then the cashier would just stare at it confused because it was like, what is this? Why is Regis Philbin in this random McDonald's demanding free $3 hamburgers? And they would go, I've never seen this before. I have to call someone. And then like, it would be this confusing thing. And eventually he would go, it's fine, just here. And he would just pay for the food. And it never worked because it was just a very confusing object because it's not a thing that anyone has.
Love the idea of that employee showing up to work that day.
Yeah,
That didn't come up in the
onboarding.
In the handbook.
Training. Yeah.
It's as if, though, honestly, if you think about it, it's as if a celebrity walked in and said, just with their hands, hey, I have this glowing orb. It entitles me to all your stuff for free.
Yeah. What are you supposed to do with that? And then who do you even call to see if this is real? And also, I like to believe that the card itself was more of a symbolic gesture. And then he was just like, no, this is great. I get free McDonald's. But then no one ever informed the thousands of employees around the globe that if you ever see this, you give this guy free food.
Classic Reg.
I wanna congratulate you, Mike Schur, and tell the audience now that you at Meadowlark Media have done such a good job as an intern on Stat of the Day that we are now promoting you to one Stat of the Day a day and also one Regis Philbin story a day now. So okay, we are going to do that going forward. Yes,
Reg of the Day.
Reg of the Day and Stat of the Day.
And we get to go through your house and sell your
will
possessions for
auction.
charity.
Yes.
Well, but do you know how much
You can sell the
After we're done
Miro
with
to
dance.
Samson.
Yeah, wait a minute. Do you know how much stuff this guy has of Regis that we could sell for charity? Like
Do
this.
you?
This is I don't. But I feel
Do
like
you,
we
Mike?
could. I feel like we could rummage through all his things and give it all away to charity.
We're turning this into like a Regis Philbin estate sale now all of a sudden.
Do you have anything from Regis, Mike?
I have some things. They're I would call them family heirlooms that aren't for
Let's
sale.
sell them.
But yeah,
Yes,
His
I've got
daughter,
I've
too.
got a few things.
The McDonald's card still around? Or?
No, I've looked for the McDonald's card because I wanted to try it. And I wanted to see if I could find it, but I think it's long gone. I mean, it was like 30 years ago. But sure, yeah, sell whatever I've got in my house. It doesn't matter to
Billy,
me.
you lit up.
These things.
You lit up at the idea of a McDonald's all access card that Regis Philbin had one.
Well, because I'm glad that he told that story because that was going to be my exact question was what happens when he actually tries to use it at a restaurant? Because there's no way that someone that's working behind the register was onboarded at McDonald's somewhere on a road trip in middle America. Like, in the event that Regis Philbin shows up, this is what you do when he presents the card to you.
They should present their employees with everyone who has the card, though, right? I mean,
No,
But it's gonna. But that's the problem. It's like, okay, it's Regis Philbin and Mikhail Gorbachev, and like it's probably like a dozen people who are never. 11 of whom are never going to go into the McDonald's. So,
all right, Mike.
Mr. Gorbachev, order me a hash brown.
All right, Mike. Reg of the
wait,
day.
sorry. Was that a tear down? Was that a Mr. Gorbachev tear down that wall parody?
That was limited fake Ronald Reagan, yes.
So they went to McDonald's together in this
Yes,
situation?
they did. Thank you for dissecting that.
Can I say rest in power in this situation?
I think so.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He like kind of ended the Soviet Union.
Well, then rest in power.
Well, no, the hockey game did that.
Oh, yeah, that did, yeah, that's true.
Mitt Romney has the McDonald's golden card, Mike. So does Bill Gates and Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett,
again.
I
They
could
don't
actually
need
see using it.
Buffett goes there every day.
People unlikely to be going into a roadside McDonald's in like rural Pennsylvania.
Haven't you seen though that Warren Buffett is like crazy in that he sets aside like the exact change that he needs for his McDonald's breakfast every single morning? Like he'll go with his he has it figured out like it's $1.37 because he orders the exact same thing every day and pays like to the penny so that he doesn't get change.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories about him like that. That he still doesn't he, or maybe it's all the Walmart. I can't remember. It's all the Walmart guys used to fly coach everywhere, and it's like a drive old. Sam Walton used to drive like an old beat up pickup truck. Like, I don't know.
Hold on a second, though. Juju is saying that J.J. Watt has a golden Chipotle card.
Wow.
A lot of athletes have those, Dan. It's a thing now, or it was a thing in like 2010. Then the whole norovirus thing happened. Chipotle kind of dropped off a little bit. I still ate there though that entire time.
I thought all the Subway athletes got those for Subway. Like every time you see a Subway commercial, they get the Subway
You
card.
should ask Golick. Didn't he do a whole Subway thing?
Mike?
I left you hanging there. I'm
All
so
right,
sorry.
Mike, we will
Thanks, Stu.
By the
I'm
way-
a goal. Actually, you host a show with them. I don't know.
So do you.
This sound is 5 minutes overdue. Everything about this segment has been dialing up a Regis Philbin anecdote to knowing the exact change for Warren Buffett. Walmart guys flying coach. Everyone here, look at me, Louis.
One of my most awkward exchanges with Mike Schur that I'm sure he doesn't remember.
Basset Hound.
No, not the Basset Hound. It was worse than the
You
Basset
guys were
Hound.
quick to that.
It was like a season of The Masked Singer a couple years ago, and like some of the people guessed like, "Oh, this is Regis Philbin." So I texted him like, "Hey, people think that the crocodile's Regis Philbin," and he goes, "I can guarantee you it's not Regis Philbin." And then like 3 weeks later, he passed away. I was like, "Oh."
I do not remember that.
Awkward,
Don't beat yourself up.
Billy. Awkward.
Well, then the Basset Hound thing happened, and that cleared all of that up. Yeah.
What happened, Mike? Please tell me. I didn't understand because I was away, and I walked into a room yesterday, and evidently there was something that happened with those two bad judgment clowns, Amin El-Hassan and Zach. Did something happen that was an interaction with you awkward?
I just joined to do my daily stat of the day duties as a good little intern, and I walked into the weirdest vibe I've ever sensed in any room anywhere, where they were talking about Aubrey Plaza movies, and I was legitimately and interestedly asking them about what Aubrey Plaza movies they had watched, and then I started to get this really weird spidey sense that something terrible had happened over the course of the show. And then they just kept asking me the same questions over and over again and talking about the same things over and over again. And it wasn't until I eventually figured out that they had been caught in a weird time loop and had just been living the same 8 minutes of show over and over again. But it was also weird that they hadn't said to me before they started asking me these questions that they hadn't told me that this was the 11th time they had had the same discussion.
Aubrey Plaza, though, she's having a moment.
Yeah. Yeah, she's having a moment. That's right.
Do you guys realize when I say cinephobe, check it out, a descent into bad judgment.
Mike, are you wearing a Hall & Oates shirt?
We can't do it again.
Please
I can't
don't.
go back.
I wasn't even here on Monday. Please don't do this.
See you later, Mike.
Let's start over.
Bye.
Read you the day.
I have a question for you about this because I don't know about this.
Right.
And I didn't live in a dorm when I was in college. What just happened?
Witty burped.
Well, okay.
Really?
Come on.
Yeah.
You're capable?
They programmed
Into a
burps.
microphone?
They programmed burps in his last software update.
So,
Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh,
Stugotz, I have a question for you because you're
Yes.
taking your daughters to college and dropping them off at their dorms, right?
Right.
I wasn't aware of this until recently when someone told me about it. You can hire like interior decorators to like dress up your children's dorms. Like that's a thing now.
Right.
Did you do that? Is that
No.
a thing you're familiar with?
No, so all my daughter wanted and her roommate was wallpaper because it's like it's a weird cement wall, like brick wall. And so she just wanted wallpaper over it. And so we didn't hire anyone. Her roommate's dad did it for us.
Well, what were you doing?
Watching.
It's for your daughter?
man,
You had
come
someone
on.
else's dad come
I
in
can't
and
do that. I'm not good at that. It's not something like I told them on the front end, hey, I'll take you out for dinner that night. I'll buy you drinks, but I ain't laying wallpaper. Like that's not happening. I'm not doing that. I don't know how to do it. It's hard.
But you learn for your daughter.
No, he knew how to do it. He said he could do it in an hour, and he did.
Well, did his daughter want that too, or this was just like you hired this person to do this job for your daughter?
No, our daughters decided on the wallpaper that they wanted, and her dad said, hey, I'm good at this. I can do it. I got it. And he did it. And he did it very, very well. So why would I get in the way of that? So I was eating pizza. I was watching him. I was entertaining. I was hanging out with both kids. I was doing what I do. Yeah. Yes, I was entertaining.
And did you follow through and go out and take out to the drinks or whatever?
No, I got everyone lunch. I got pizza up in Syracuse, New York. I brought it back for everyone. I was in charge of the music. Like I was doing, I was doing what I do.
What was this
Which is nothing.
this lovely person's name?
That's a good question.
Oh, God.
It was just dead songs too, wasn't it?
Why are you asking me this? Why are you putting me on the spot and getting me in a bad spot?
I'm not. I had just learned that there was a thing that now parents pay for their kids' dorms to be decorated in a certain way, and I had never heard of that.
Dorm decorations have taken on
It's
new
like a big deal.
life.
Yes.
If you ever go on TikTok or Pinterest or whatever and see like what some people are doing in their dorms, it looks crazy and it looks very expensive. And it just seems like a complete waste of money because you live there for what, like
Did you
7
do anything
months?
to your dorm?
No, my dorm was a shithole.
It was, right?
The building
Like,
was
it's kinda
raised like
supposed to
2
be a
years after I moved out.
Right,
Like, they
it's-
demolished it.
It's kind of supposed
You
to
had
be a
black
shithole,
mold.
your dorm, no?
Absolutely.
That's part of the charm of college, right?
I actually, my dorm at Clemson was very weird in that we had 4 girls in one dorm, but we had our own kitchenette and our own bathroom inside our dorm room, which most people have the communal bathroom like in the hallway where they all have to like share bathrooms and whatnot. But we put all of our 4 bunk beds in the bedroom, so all 4 of us slept in the same room. And then we had our own like living room with all of our desks and a little like TV and a futon. It was actually very nice. However, since the bathroom was like in our dorm, we were responsible for cleaning it ourselves.
Right.
And I lived with some very messy people that did not know how to clean things very thoroughly. And it was very disgusting. It was probably a health hazard. I think I got sick cleaning it at one point because I inhaled mold fumes. But you like leaving 18-year-olds, regardless of gender, all 18-year-olds are relatively disgusting, in charge of cleaning up after themselves in that capacity is just a horrible idea. And they tore that building down. Clemson
My daughter
House.
called me to ask me how to do laundry. My
You
wife
asked someone else.
Well, my wife and I walked her through how to do
Your
it.
roommate's dad do
Wait,
it for you?
hold on. You still did your daughter's laundry?
You called Bob.
Oh,
the
you're
roommate's dad.
laying a lot of you're laying a lot of wallpaper these days, Whittingham.
You didn't make
probably
your
are,
kids
I'm
do their
sorry.
own laundry in high school? I've been doing laundry since I was like in 5th grade. I
I
thought,
love
like,
doing
everyone
laundry.
just
My
did their
kids,
own.
listen, my kids went to my daughter, we have a joke in our house because she went to private school up at North Broward Prep. So her first day of college was her first day of school. She's like, Dad, they don't remind us about homework. Like, I just have to write that. I'm like, yeah, that's school. Congratulations on your first day.
Did you just say you love to do laundry?
I do. Cathartic, yes. Don't bring out the chickens.
chicken
No,
time.
no, no. Get back in, chickens. Get the hell back in there.
What do you mean?
I've been saying that for decades. I'm telling you. No. I'm not intimidated by the chickens today.
Can we call Abby, please? Because he's pretending now. He's leaning in saying, I've been saying it for years, as if that makes it true.
Fabric softener.
It's a good point by you.
I mean, you are so full of shit.
Yeah. I love the softener. You know what else I love, Dan? They have this thing now, so you can mix colors. You can put a couple of sheets in the actual wash, right? And that prevents colors from bleeding into the whites.
Do,
How about
do
that?
colors still
Yes.
bleed? I feel like we're in
Yeah.
a post-separation world of separating whites from colors in the laundry.
I agree. I haven't
In the laundry.
separated.
I am specifically talking
In the
about laundry.
laundry.
Please
I
do
just
not
got
use this
lazy.
out of context.
Just in the laundry.
Everything's cold wash now. Every material is synthetic, and everything needs to be washed cold, and the colors don't bleed if it's all cold. Right? Am I crazy?
So let me ask you a question, Stu,
Yeah.
since you like to do laundry.
Sure.
When do I go from cold to warm to hot? Like, what do I do? Because I'm doing laundry, but I will just throw everything in together. But all my
that's what I
clothes
do.
look ridiculous.
I throw everything in together, put a couple of these sheets in that separate, so the colors don't bleed into the whites.
What?
And then I put some detergent in. What do you mean, what?
What are those sheets? The sheets I put in are in the dryer sheets.
No, those are softeners, okay? These are sheets that prevent the colors from bleeding into the whites that you put in. So you can throw everything into one thing. You don't believe they exist, Billy?
I've never heard of it.
They're fantastic. Great invention. I mean,
all right, we've got to go
it
through
changed
this.
the laundry game. I'm serious.
Stugotz is now aggressively fighting with the chickens who are undefeated. The chickens.
They're not going to win this one.
Okay, you're really saying this? This is the one you're staking it on. Whittingham, can we please call Abby and find out whether Stugotz finds cathartic to just sit around doing laundry? Because I want to get to the truth. It says we might be on the precipice here of a historic Stugotz defeating the chickens. Stop texting your wife, please.
No, I'm giving Chris the number. That's all I'm doing.
You would understand why I would not trust you from any turn here.
Of course I do.
I also don't think she'll lie for him, though. So I don't think that that's something we need to worry about that much.
She won't.
I've also found here on Amazon a 72 sheets Shout color catcher dye trapping sheet.
Thank you.
So I think I can verify Stugotz's use of this here.
You don't need that.
What you got, chickens? Huh?
All right, well, we will. So you are feeling confident before we go after Abby here, and because there are a couple of things I wanted to get to. One of them is, again, and I do not know why this keeps happening to us on a Wednesday.
The drilling?
That
You guys hear that too?
Well,
thought it was just in here.
hope the audience doesn't hear that because yes, the show has been vibrating all show. They've been drilling for 2 hours. I hope it's not too disorienting for the audience because our bodies have been shaking for 2 hours. But first take, they're yelling at each other, and we need to get an update. And also, football is upon us now, and Jessica is about to head into the storm. Jessica. Ostensibly, forgive me, because I don't know if we've introduced you to the audience this way, Jessica. We kind of agreed on it was going to be a college football thing, and then it morphed into a whole lot of other things, right? But
what things are we talking about?
The work you would be doing for Meadowlark Media.
What things don't I do is a better description. MMA, that's Tony's thing.
But college football,
everything else though.
You're headed where?
Well, you're very talented. I mean,
oh, thank you, Stugotz.
Got it.
You should listen to Golic and Smetty this week. You get a shout out like once every couple episodes.
Do I really?
I am going to the Backyard Brawl tomorrow night, Pitt, West Virginia.
Wow.
Wow.
On the schedule, week 1, Thursday night.
Amazing.
Formerly Heinz Field, now Schur Stadium or whatever the hell they call it. Very excited, Dan. Week 1, there's a lot of good matchups this weekend. My alma mater playing Ohio State Saturday night. FSU, LSU, sneaky underrated game on Sunday night. There's going to be some fun things with the return of college football season.
Is Notre Dame season going to end in 3 hours? Like
no, absolutely. It's week 1. You don't need to. No, they're playing the number 2 team in week 1. Even if they lose by 30 points, if they win out the rest of their games, or maybe have one other loss to like Clemson or USC or whatever. They can still make the playoff. That's the beauty of playing a difficult schedule and getting a tough opponent out in week 1. Same goes for Oregon and Georgia and all the other teams this weekend.
I was curious because, again, Golic and Smetty will be covering college football, and she is headed Pittsburgh. Her football fandom is in an interesting place post-Roethlisberger. Kenny Pickett he looked like a professional quarterback for Pittsburgh last year, and now he goes to the Steelers, and it's a cool story, and he's going to be the one to replace Roethlisberger soon, I would imagine. And
although Mike Tomlin is not yet named the starter. He was asked yesterday, and he's still not yet deciding who's going to start at quarterback for the Steelers.
They've decided. I like that. I think Mitch Trubisky
Gamesmanship.
Will
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't show him your hand, Dano.
But I think it's smart to let Kenny Pickett have a few extra weeks to get some more practice reps in and go on the road with the team and kind of feel it out. And then
there's a danger to that, though.
I don't think there really is.
If Mitch is good and the team's playing well, he never comes out.
But what's the danger in that? That's a great
you
problem
never know,
to have.
Dan.
But he was like,
we know.
No, you don't know.
Well, Stugotz, he was 0 for 16 in goal line situations like this, right? Matty, I was reading some stats. Trubisky wasn't exactly showing anybody anything during the preseason that makes you think he's going to be something more than what we've seen from Trubisky.
Yeah, he can be fine, though, and that will be enough to, win a few games and then have Kenny Pickett come in, a third of the way through the season if that's what they want to do. If he's not ready to start week 1, maybe he's ready to start week 1 and the Steelers haven't led on to that yet, and he will start. But it doesn't seem like he will. It seems like it's Mitch Trubisky's job to lose. He's a more veteran quarterback. Not saying he's a veteran quarterback, but he has played in the NFL. He has started games, and they don't need him to do that much. They have a good defense. They have a solid run game, a great tight end. And he just needs to kind of spread the ball out and play his game, and they can
It's
win
going
a
to be
few
boring,
games.
though, no? Like, don't you feel
Why
like
is that
you're headed
boring?
toward a grinding sort of 7-10
He's
season?
never had a losing
Or
season,
some-
Mike Tomlin.
Okay, fine. Then a grinding 9-8 season like last year's. Don't you feel like you're just headed toward Mike Tomlin willing you to 9 wins? You know, they've spent the last 3 years. I don't want to talk Steelers. I don't want to dive too deep
Apparently you do.
on Steelers football. What I did want to dive a little deeper on with you, because you're doing with Golick. It's not a Notre Dame podcast. It's not even college football. It's not just a college football podcast. But in watching that Untold series on Netflix, and they really are telling some cool sports stories, and they're telling them well. Telling the Manti T'eo story with all of it, with the religious connotations of Notre Dame, with what it is that Notre Dame aspires to be as an institution beyond football, that Manti T'eo would come out of that, all of that catfishing shame situation, with the shame being something that we should be feeling, and that he would be forgiving of everybody, that he would be a shining light for what Notre Dame tries to represent. Hearing Manti T'eo's story, or seeing it told that way, when you reflect back on what our behavior was 10 years ago, Stugotz,
Are you going to apologize
and he forgives us.
for True or Kakua?
Yeah, you have to apologize
Should
for
we?
You,
of
you can
course.
apologize to me, actually, on
should-
behalf of
Sorry,
Notre Dame.
Jess.
We should apologize. Yes.
You weren't born yet.
That's true.
What?
I was in college. I accept your apology, though. I think you're right, Dan. He seems to have time has sort of healed some of those wounds. He did seem very emotional at the end of the documentary.
But to be so forgiving of everyone,
yeah, I think that's
like, speaks to the level of what kind of person he is.
yeah, that seems like it's in his nature. Like that's kind of what Jack Swarbrick has been saying as the person who represents the university, who's been defending Manti for 10 years. He's incredibly trusting and kind, and maybe that was something that hurt him because he trusted this person too much and didn't seem to question if they were real or not.
It was such a story of sweet innocence, just sort of stolen by the machine and the time, and to hear him telling it for the first time, hurt but forgiving. I just can't think of a better way for that story to be framed for him in the telling of it for the first time, because Colin Kaepernick chose to tell his story through Nick Offerman and an assortment of Netflix devices, trying to, reach people in the content age with art on being iconic figures. That choice was a cool one that he made, to trust those people with that story that had been quiet for 10 years, to do it well, to tell it with grace, and to tell it in a way that was compassionate to him. I love any documentary that makes you look at yourself and be like, ooh, I did that. I was part of that in a weird way. I went with that
not
crowd.
me specifically,
How'd it feel?
but you guys, yeah, for sure.
Shameful.
Oh.
It feels shameful.
True or Kakua, that whole thing, yeah.
But also, like, you're also like not examining the context of the moment. We weren't familiar with catfishing at that time, and I would say also as a society, we're probably a bit crueler, right? Like it was.
No, we're still very cruel. I think the lesson of it, Whitty, is to think of what are the things happening right now that maybe we don't know the full story behind, that we will learn from in 5 years. Like
10
"Ooh,
years from now?
we screwed
Yeah.
up on that,
Oh
and
my
address
God,
that now
that's
before we
everywhere.
make the mistake again.
Well, we should have known with that one right there. That should have been one of them where we paused for a
yeah,
sec.
we should have paused and been like,
But
huh,
our
that
jobs
kid's-
are to react in the moment, though.
Well, the reaction was disproportionately negative towards a 21-year-old instead of towards multiple other failures by the media and by everyone else that let this thing happen, Stugotz. That's the problem. Like, he was the victim of the catfishing, and he became the main perpetrator in people's eyes. Like, it was his fault. Like, we blamed him for it.
Right. It became he's telling this apocryphal story that makes him seem bigger and better than he is.
Right. And
like while knowing that it wasn't true.
It was a story about our cynicism. He must be doing the wrong thing. We jumped to a conclusion as this innocent got catfished for just being too trusting and is in the middle of the sports marketing machine, Heisman winner with his story, running into the breach on behalf of Notre Dame football. An icon, a symbol of strength in his culture, for his people, trying to get to football, and he gets fooled by the internet, and his pants get caught around his ankles, just ashamed, dragged, life altered, painful, and at the end of it, he finds forgiveness. Just an unbelievable story on behalf of what the Christians would have you believe that the religion is, not of football, but of like you make the sacrifice and you forgive all. You forgive everybody.
My favorite is like people thought like Notre Dame was in on it, like Notre Dame was manufacturing this like fake relationship to make Notre Dame seem better. If Notre Dame had their way, no one would date at that school. Anyone, even a fake person that they've never seen.
It's a perfect.
This has been pissing me off to no end in the last 2 years as I've been searching for apartments around here. I don't know if this is a Miami thing or now every city does this, but the Penthouse is not every apartment on the top floor of a building. If you live in a 700 square foot 1-1 on the top floor of a building, it's not a penthouse. And we need to stop calling.
Technically, it is, though.
No, it is. No,
it's the top floor.
mean, technically it is.
It's just the top floor.
It's a 1-1 like every other apartment is what you're saying?
I've been in buildings where there's a PH1 and a PH2, and it's literally just the 19th and 20th floor. And all of the layouts are the exact same. There's nothing fancy on that top floor. I don't know, Tony, you've been apartment hunting too.
Yeah, I was a resident of a PH floor. I was PH2, and everybody's like, oh, wow, PH2. I'm like, nah, just a 800 square foot place on the 12th floor. That's it.
Really?
The exact same.
And I imagine there's a significant markup.
They charge more rent.
I'm sorry to cut you off. If you're PH2, you got to own PH2.
Well, no, I did. Still,
but
obviously.
they don't need to know that information. Only you need to know that information. They need it to be a mystery.
But at some point, they're going to come over to PH2. It's going to be an 800 square foot apartment.
This is where Stugotz's life falls apart, and he never takes that one that far out. Like, yes, I'm just going to ride PH. I'm going to ride PH2 right up until they show up at my place. It's got a hospital cot for a bed.
I'll figure it out when I get there, Dano.
But I live in a PH2.
You live in an actual PH though.
But can it be a PH? Wait a minute. I live in a PH2. It's not the top. The top floor is PH. After that, you shouldn't have another PH. It should be there's one PH.
PH2 is better, though. I mean,
no, I'm not in the better one. I am in the. There's a place above mine that is better.
Really?
Yes. I am not in the penthouse. What are you? Whittingham, what are you laughing about?
Billy is heckling you from the kitchen while he's supposed to be reporting on First Take.
All right, go ahead, Billy. I'm sorry. What are you heckling me about?
Hey, Dan, it's Billy. I'm over in the kitchen. When you said that you don't live in the penthouse and we're kind of playing it down like your place isn't nice, there was a roar of laughter on this side of the studio amongst the people who have been to your apartment, which is quite nice.
I wasn't saying it wasn't nice. I'm just saying there's one above me that is bigger and better, and so does mine get to be a penthouse if there's one above me that's a penthouse?
Dan, I have a separation here, right? So it's like for those of us on the PH floor that we have to open an elevator and then walk to our place, that's a different story. You live on a place where the elevator is your house.
Yeah, it goes right
That's
into
a
the
different
house.
story.
Yeah.
That's a penthouse.
That is ballin'.
Yeah.
That's a PH.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I guess they're in that situation. You can have multiple PHs. For me, I agree with you, Tony. The PH is the floor is yours.
Mm-hmm.
You have the entire floor to yourself. Whereas if you just have PH8 and it's a 1-1, it's 770 square feet, and it doesn't have room for a washer and dryer, then no, you don't.
Jessica,
you don't live in a
did
PH.
you feel like it was false advertising? Were you looking for? Yes, Billy.
Oh, I'm still live? Okay, I have a question. What is better about the apartment above you? Because I remember your place has just a wall of water. So, like, you just walk by and it's just a water wall that's there.
Have you been to the one upstairs?
Yes, it's twice as large and it's got a pool.
A pool?
What? Wow.
Oh my!
Man,
Who lives in that one?
You are slumming it.
McAfee? No, Dan, I was not looking for a penthouse apartment. I live on like the third floor. Like the markup of the penthouse apartment is it's just part of the scam around here. They're all just trying to get you.
How much do they mark it up? Are you positive they're
Hundreds of dollars
really?
a month. I'm positive.
900 to be exact.
Wait, so you're on floor PH and there are a bunch of 1-1s there?
Yeah, 1-1. They're mostly 1-1s, some 1-2s. And these are like all the buildings around.
Okay.
And if you go to like Brickell, Stugotz, go look at all the PHs. There's maybe like 2 actual PHs in all of Brickell. The rest are just 1-1s.
The pH, you're right. So I stand corrected because the pH needs to be all the 1-1s. All the walls need to be knocked down. That whole story is yours.
Yeah, like
The
a
whole
big
floor needs
loft.
to be yours.
Like
Yes.
a big loft.
Yes.
You got the floor. That's
Right.
a penthouse.
Correct.
If you're the floor underneath, like Dan, you're not the penthouse. You just have a really, really nice ass apartment.
So I'm not the penthouse then.
I don't think you're the
I think you.
penthouse.
Wait a minute. You guys have not come to a conclusion then.
I
thought.
disagree with
No,
Chris
but Dan's
Whittingham.
is the only apartment on that floor.
Yes, that's one of the distinctions.
doesn't mean it's a
And-
penthouse.
And the elevator comes to
The
my
elevator's
floor.
straight there, yeah.
The
Yeah.
But it's not a private elevator. It's
But you
not
don't have
my
you
elevator.
don't have a car elevator. So, I mean,
Those
how nice
are
is it really?
unbelievable. Every once in a while, I go on Zillow and I start looking at apartments that cost $18 million just to see. And
I
there's
did this the other night in Santa Fe, New Mexico. There is a fascinating house formerly owned by George O'Keefe for sale for $18 million. We should buy it.
Huh.
the most
I
expensive
saw-
Zillow listing I've ever seen is $100 million in San Diego. It's like 12 beds, 18 baths.
Oh, that pales in comparison to one in the Grove me and Billy are going to buy for $150.
It's 2 houses, though.
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
2 houses, one for me, one for Billy.
First take reports. Billy is in the kitchen right now. I do see that it seems like the hair is tousled of one Chris Mad Dog Russo. Billy, what do you have as an update on what's going on First Take?
Hey, Dan, it's Billy. So last segment, Booger joined, and it was the first time in months he had been on with Stephen A. Smith, and the topic they were discussing, Tampa Bay, which is Tampa Bay, the Bucks, but it's Tom Brady, so they call it Tampa Bay. So, anyways, Booger, the question was asked, is he more confident or concerned with the Bucks? He's more confident with the Bucks, Dan. Thanks for asking. So then Mad Dog said that he's more concerned with the Bucks because he thinks that they're going to have a bad year because Tom Brady's 45 and one day he's going to play like he's 45. Now, Stephen A. did not like that. He took the position that Stugotz has taken for a long time, which is don't do that. I care about you. So then Mad Dog started listing all the reasons why he has issues with Tampa Bay, and one of them was that their coach was 24-40 with the Jets. And then Stephen A. said, don't hold that against him. Don't hold that against Todd Bowles because there's, quote, a true black cat running around the Jets organization. And that's the reason why the Jets have been bad because
He's
the
right.
black cats
Yeah,
have been
that's
running
true.
around.
Right.
cogent
That is
analysis.
good.
Everyone's
That is-
24-40
that
as
is-
Jets head coach.
Well,
That
so
is
here's the thing.
good
Then Doggy
analysis.
said 24-40 is 24-40. As Bill Parcells said, you are who you are. So Bill Parcells was invoked in that conversation.
No, he didn't
Tuna.
say that.
Yeah,
The
that's
quote
a
was,
misquote.
you
Kesha.
are who your record says you are, is the quote. You are who you are is useless as a quote.
Well, things are coming fast and furious, so maybe I got that one wrong. Because the thing is, I'm also distracted because right now they're currently talking about the best current rivalry in college football, but we'll get to that later on,
Ooh.
possibly.
Is there going to
So
be a
then
top 5, Billy?
What's that now?
Will there be a top 5 best rivalry?
I
in
think
college
that we
football?
may have missed Steven's A list, but I'm not 100%
Wow.
sure if we've seen
But how about
Steven's A
Doggy's
list or
top
not yet.
5?
Yeah, it's a little later in the proceedings than we're used to. Anyways, Stephen A. is worried about the Saints and the Bucks, even though the Bucks had the Saints number in the postseason, because I guess in the regular season the Saints have had the Bucks number, but in the postseason the Bucks have had the Saints number. Anyway, so then Doggy told us the over/under is 11.5. Bet the under when it comes to Tampa Bay, and then Chris Russo apparently has spent the entire show. He was going down the schedule and telling you which games they're going to win, which games they're going to lose, which is a classic and something that maybe we should do one day and get sponsored here on the show. So Chris Russo was doing that with Tampa Bay, and he was saying how Trey Lance is going to have their number, and then he was saying how the Rams are going to have their number, and listing all of these as losses for Tampa Bay. And then Stephen A. reminded him, you spent the entire show telling us how Trey Lance is not going to get it done, and you spent the entire show telling us how the Rams are going to be underwhelming this season, to which Doggy responded, he's got me.
What?
Yeah.
No.
That's never happened
no,
before.
No. What? You're what?
Admitted defeat by the end of the thing, and then they
No.
were having a great laugh, the two of them, and then we closed the segment with them getting predictions from Stephen A. and Booger, both of which said that the Buccaneers are going to go 12-5 this year. Back to you, Dan.
Okay, thank you, Billy.
What a big day.
An excellent report. You were live on the scene when Chris
Doggy was
Russo
had.
admitted he got me. It was said out loud on
Never happened
on a
before.
debate show. It was we were witness to a historic checkmate where you cannot admit defeat. You cannot admit that anyone's got you. You have to slither to the side. But one of the things that I do want to address before we head into yet another football season of America's most magical game. The idea that we're still on television before that season, talking about 45-year-old Tom Brady, as he says, I need 11 days off, I'm 45, a lot of shit happens. The idea that we're still analyzing this dude and the art of Stugotz gets to be right about never doubting Tom Brady.
You started to doubt 10 years ago.
Because he defies age by 8 years on any precedent ever created. It is a real, hey, LeBatard, fuck you and all your numbers situation. All your analysis, all your predictors, that Stugotz gets to be right about this is one of the most amazing stories ever told in art.
He's a genuine visionary because you weren't doing your numbers and your data and your all that stuff. You were just going how normal human beings behave.
Yes.
That's really all you were doing. Is
correct.
Yeah, most athletes are done by 40.
Yes.
And to not only like carry on, like there is a version in which like Tom Brady becomes like Jimmy Garoppolo in his 40s, and that would have been incredible. But to then like lead the league in passing when you're 44 years old?
He won a Super Bowl 2 years ago and an MVP.
But do you know what a punch in the face it is to the gas bag to offer you the gentle criticism of his deep ball is not as accurate and he might be aging in a way that our eyes are too human to discern his greatness, how it ages? That would be the height of insult, and he would bury me in it for 8 years as Stugotz gets to wave his flag atop. That's right. I'm riding the golden unicorn of no precedent ever for 45 bleeping-year-old guy heading into a season. And if he won the MVP, you'd be surprised.
No. You would? Still.
I mean, just...
If they win the Super Bowl, I'm not surprised.
Stugotz, I mean, at some point, the number has to catch up.
Dan.
Like, do you imagine... I was thinking about this, Stugotz. Let's think...
care about you.
No. I'm not going to do the predictable thing of questioning him.
He's won 5 Super Bowls since you said he was done.
Let's do this another way. As he gives us the most honest version of him we've ever seen, as he's trying to craft his brand for the next incarnation of Tom Brady winning in this fight against Romo and Aikman and everyone else with whatever he's going to do with the rest of his life. And as at his home, he's got growing up kids and a wife who's been saying for years, hey, let's go, come home. And he's like, I don't want this to ever end. I've got a fountain of youth. What are you talking about? Nobody throws this away. And then to be called home for 11 days for whatever the reason is. Life happened. Somebody got sick. You know, the kids.
A lot of shit going on.
The kids need some attention. Hey, you said that it was going to be different this year than all the other years of this is a consuming thing being football. And we think it's the most important thing, but that family, like... They need a dad at home or you know, a wife needs a husband. And so we don't know what's happening there, but what would be your best guess on what's happening there when Tom Brady says a lot of shit going on? And is it fair to even guess? Because my thought was this dude has been obsessive compulsive about this thing, as you must be, to be excellent at it. And I can't imagine, as big as his life is, that would allow him to also always be present, loving with family, present, like there.
Now, Dan, he has said that he has missed a lot of important stuff for his wife, for his kids, for himself, but he loves this thing. He's still great at this thing.
And all of us understand why he would understand that thing. And I understand why a family would think to itself, well, why do you love that thing more than you love us? Why do you love the thing in service of daddy?
I think as the kids get older, it gets cooler and cooler that, hey, my dad is Tom Brady.
But
you know?
What do you imagine's happening there? Did you allow yourself, is it fair to even guess, as the athlete of our time somehow keeps everything with him private, he's somehow managed, on top of all his other victories, it's not just making me look like a fool for daring to say he'd aged like a human being. Look like a total fool, an ass. Yeah, I said the most scandalous thing. It's the rare has been Max Kellerman still gets buried by just predicting, you know, casually and with arrogance. Yes, there will be a precipitous decline now. Why? Why do I know that? Because it happens to every quarterback ever at 37. I could feel pretty confident about that Tom Brady will not have another Hall of Fame career after that and now have as many NFC playoff victories as Aaron Rodgers.
To answer your question, the place I went to, because his parents have had some health issues in the past, I think his dad has. That's where I went to. that he had to be there for his mom and dad. Like, but it could be. It's pointless in guessing what it is he was doing. It could be movies.
I just like that we, in this one instance, in one of America's most famous athletes and its greatest winners, takes 11 days off from work, and there he makes us genuflect and respect privacy as well. He gets to keep his privacy there, and I'm like, okay, he gets to bend the machine to his will. Nobody's going to find out why he's missing 11 days of work in America's most popular sport. What's dragging him at home? And his quote is the greatest. Like I'm telling you, it's the greatest quote I've ever heard from Tom Brady.
Cuts right to it.
Look, man, it's hard to be 45. I'm running after. I don't know what's happening with the kids at school. Like
he's also running like 5 businesses too at the same time. And so, yeah, he's got a lot of shit going on. I do like the conspiracy theory that it was plastic surgery based. But
well, that's Jamel. Is that Jamel's theory or somebody else's theory?
Mike has talked about this on the show. His hair.
It's been trending on Twitter for like 4 days.
Yeah.
At this point, it's like a lot.
Middle part, his hair color.
theories.
There's a lot of that going on there. By the way, Tom Brady is second favorite to be the MVP of the NFL. He's plus 850. He's plus 850.
Who's first?
Josh Allen at plus 650.
Oh my God!
He's ahead of Mahomes.
Yes, Mahomes has longer odds to win the MVP than Tom Brady does.
Are you guys alleging to me, though, before this season starts? Because I remember some of this TMZ coverage started with Tom Brady. I was fairly shocked to learn when the New York Post reported that Tom Brady was going to a hair transplant place at the New York Post many, many years ago. And I was like, oh, that doesn't seem fair to report that. That seems like an invasion that's unnecessary. And everything after that, Tom Brady's been able to keep private. Are you making the allegation that the internet is hypothesizing that Tom Brady before an NFL season just took 11 days off because a lot of shit he's got going on is that he's got to get his face ready like Tom Cruise for the next 15 years of his broadcast career?
I was actually thinking, you know what?
Career.
Yes, I agree. You know what? I was thinking about this. I was thinking about, do you think that Tom Brady, part of his success as an older man in football is looking in the mirror and not seeing an old man? That if one day he looked in the mirror and saw wrinkles and gray hair, that he couldn't perform at the level he's performed at. He maintains who he was because in the mirror he still is who he was.
Look, this is one of the athletes of our times, and his winning will be a mystery. He makes Belichick look like a fool in the rearview mirror, but I really do foresee a day where he just signed the 15-year contract with Fox that makes me look like a fool yelling, he's never proven it, because his broadcast 12 years from now is going to be him taking the snap as the MVP of the league for another defending champion and then broadcasting as he runs out of the huddle. And this is what I'm going to do here, and I'm going to run over here, and he's going to be broadcasting while on the field, breathless at 58 years old, and he's going to revolutionize the game.
Breathless.
You mean breath? I mean, I'm just going to chuck it over there to that guy on the left.
Not even sweating.
Chuck it over to Mike Evans Jr. over there on the left sideline.
Junior.
Do you realize that the only thing that will stop Tom Brady is his family wanting him at home? Like, you guys are telling me that
hasn't stopped him yet.
There's no number. Nothing will stop him. Time doesn't stop him. Nothing will stop him. He is a robot monster from the future. Like, he's a ghost. You got Dan Campbell out here calling a wide receiver with 600 yards a serpent and a freaking snake and a spider, a spider demon. What's Tom Brady? He's defying every principle
He's a goat.
Of aging, of athletics, of competition.
Dan, last year he threw for the most yardage he's ever thrown for in a season. Last year.
It's just, what do you even say? I mean, we've been doing this for 4 years, 5 years.
Dan's been doing it for 8.
But it's got to stop. What I'm asking you is there's got to be an age. It's just going to stop when he wants it to.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that this past season was the end. I thought valiant effort, great performance in the regular season, great performance in the playoffs, a lot of talk about retirement, goes and retires. That seemed like a perfect time for him to go out on top, as it were.
The reason I'm so fascinated by the family love, living life constructs of you arrive at 45 years old. He's learned so much. You've seen how he's presenting his brand now so that he can win after retirement the same way that he won before retirement. The part that I'm finding fascinating as he finds Zen life balance in the middle of 5 businesses and trying to win a championship, and the pressures of that don't seem like they seem anxiety inducing. No matter how many employees you have, it comes with a great many responsibilities to be Tom Brady, father among them, but like that one's enough. Father's enough, husband's enough. Like it can get complicated. And so when it becomes, you've got a family decision at home, your wife wants you home, like it's time to go. But the calling on the other side is, hey, Tom, you realize how hard this is, right? Like you realize how weird it is that you're 7 years past being still great in this sport. Everyone wants this fountain of youth. Nobody would ever walk away playing the game he does where it doesn't physically hurt that much, Stugotz.
Right.
Somehow it doesn't physically hurt that much for him to play it that way.
Why would you walk away? I mean, he had 43 touchdowns and 12 interceptions last year.
But for love of life and wife and family over love of game, love of youth, love of yourself, love of competition. It's a real crossroads if your wife wants you home. I don't know if that's what's happening, but if your wife keeps wanting you home,
sure.
A man trying to decide again and again, why would I give away a fountain of youth? Why would you ever ask me to sell a fountain of youth? Everyone wants this for one last year, and I can do it forever.
But I think she knows that. I do wonder because Dan, at some point he's going to retire here, and it will be a lot earlier than most people, most spouses, your husband retires. And so she is going to have the luxury of having him home and the ability, excuse me,
$5.
Sorry.
You do owe 10 here today.
You owe 170.
I don't owe. You need to stop doing that.
And the ability, Dan, to do whatever they want moving forward for their kids. So whatever he's missed out on, and I'm sure it's been difficult, and it's been very hard on her, he's going to make it up to her in a big way.
Oh, I don't know.
Dan, he's going to retire by the time he's 50. Most men are still working. Most people are still working.
But his quality of life at some point, just historically, is not going to be what it is for most people that are retiring, right? Like the wear and tear on his body is going to catch up to him.
But I think to Dan's point, there really hasn't been that much wear and tear on.
Well, but he's not pristine either, though, Stugotz. Like you can't keep taking. He is getting hit. He gets the ball out fast, and he is repairing his body. He's got, whether it's science or something else, through surgery and everything else, Stugotz. It is, to me, a fascinating conundrum. Like it's a crossroads that I would love to hear him speak honestly about. Like I don't know whether we'd ever see that as he brand manages and really protects his privacy. But whatever the human complications are of your wife's just as successful as you are, and she's got a busy life too, and her coffee table books are like more than your salary in the NFL, and I don't know what the dynamics of that are, but I do know that he gets to be boss everywhere, and she's like every bit as boss as him, and I don't know how those kids are raised. Like, I don't know what's needed from daddy. Why does everything go into what daddy does?
But also, I think a lot of the conversation about their personal lives has been about fearing for the safety of hits, right? Is there one last hit that he's going to take that is going to significantly alter his health? Like we've talked about, what does quality of life look like? That's really the only thing that's ever been talked about as it relates to their personal life. But I don't know.
Can you imagine how hard a decision is for Tom Brady to let go of the fountain of youth? Nobody gets the fountain of youth. Everyone in that sport gets dragged off by the neck. Man, Peyton Manning was pretty great at what he did. Retired 5 years ago, and God knows what's happening in his neck with herniated disc, even though he didn't get hit very much either, and the ball came out awfully damn quick there, too, and his body doesn't work right.
I mean, it's a fascinating discussion. I do wonder if it's caused any sort of fractures in their relationship. I wonder it all the time. But he's so great at the thing that he does, and so is she. I think that if she wanted him to stop playing football, he would have done so many years ago. I do.
Okay, but it seems like she has wanted him to. I don't
know, Dan.
I mean, he said so. He has said so many.
I think she wants him there, but she also realizes at the same time, oh my God, you're doing this thing that is so important to you, is so important to us, and you're still doing it at the highest level, higher than anyone playing in the game. And I would like to think if, I were in a similar circumstance that my wife would say, hey, keep going. As long as you want to go, keep going.
Against God, she has the same career.
Well, she doesn't play quarterback.
No, but she has this. She has the same. Like, yes, keep going. But this is a
Bona
power
fides,
couple.
yeah.
A power couple.
I understand
unlike
that.
any. But I mean, okay. So, Dad, keep going. Keep going. What about me?
Yeah, but maybe
Aging
like
in the beauty industry, aging in something that's pretty goddamn competitive too. And I've dominated the way you dominate over there. Why do I have to raise the kids? Like, I don't know what's happening there, but all of it feels like in play when Tom Brady is coming out and saying I'm 45 and I got a lot of shit going on.
maybe this offseason when he fake retired and then went back, like part of it was his wife saying like, hey, like why don't you go play a little more, because he was around more, and it's like, oh, and
Pushing
then
him
all
out
the
the
like
door.
little quirky
Yeah.
things start, coming out, and then like dad jokes and stuff like that, and it's like,
I wanted
it's
Tom
been
home.
it's been 20 years since Tom's been around all the time, and now like, why don't we one last ride? You know what I mean? See if you can call Gronk, see if he'll play again. Which, by the way, middle of the season, keep an eye
He's
out for
playing.
that.
Well, but let's
situation.
talk about this for a second because.
Sources?
Just keep an eye on it.
Okay, but you guys
Okay,
tell
folks.
me, as people in relationships, you guys tell me, how's it going over in the Brady household that Tom Brady is wandering around with Gronk over to Vegas and just in the power circles of these owners who run teams and schmoozing with Mark Davis around the bigot John Gruden and being like, hey, we'll bring you the championship over here. Gronk and Brady in Vegas just offering the championship to Miami to Las Vegas with Gronk as the friend that's running sidecar on the things on your business decisions. How's that going over in the Brady household? That Gronk is his right-hand man.
My wife would be upset just because I'm hanging out with Gronk.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
I mean,
Just because he's a friend.
we brought a ringer in here. Oh, Papi is in the house here because
Yeah.
we need a winning Wednesday. We need something. We need some luck. We haven't had any luck here with our gambling. We are not good at this. DraftKings has given us a lot of money to build a business, Dad, and we stink at gambling. So we're bringing in a ringer for winning Wednesday. But before we do that, and Refran del Dia with Papi, I just want to clean up generationally here with my father now here. Phone habits. The way that phone habits have changed among all of us. Can you guys tell me how you imagine? I've got some questions for Papi. Papi, how do you use your phone? Do you make a lot of calls? Do you receive a lot of calls?
No, I don't make that many calls, and I don't receive that many calls. I just use it just to talk to your mother when I'm not with her. That's
And
all.
Hoiberg, yeah.
And Hoiberg, yeah, that's right.
You and Fred Hoiberg.
The
Fred
mayor.
Hoiberg, that's
Yeah.
right. I haven't heard from him in a long, long time, though. He must be doing very well.
Why
Where is Fred Hoiberg?
is he
Good
at?
question.
I saw that Jim Mora was at some haunted house in
Coaches
Connecticut.
Nebraska now.
Oh, that's look at that. A Scott Frost joke in there somewhere.
Shocking.
Papi,
Yeah.
Wait, Jim Moore is at a haunted house? Like he lives there? Like what,
He does. He lives at a haunted house
What
now.
are you guys talking about?
It's a thing.
Really?
Yeah, he said it.
No,
Jim
he's the,
Mora?
he's the head coach of
at
UConn.
UConn.
Okay.
Which, I mean, in recent times, that is the haunted house of college football. So.
Guys, he really lives in a haunted house. Look up the story.
He says
said
they're
it.
good
I did see
ghosts.
that.
He
Yeah.
said they're good ghosts,
You
though.
live in a haunted house, Billy.
I tried to do what Eric told us to do a couple months ago. Eric Myron told us to do a couple months ago on the show, which was kind of like tell the ghosts that they could like leave and go on and be on their other, whatever their
okay
next
now?
story. Yeah.
Right.
So I tried to do that, and I thought that I was good, but I keep waking. I'm still not convinced. I've had mediums and people tell me that it's a ghost. I'm still not 100% convinced, and I think it's just an electrical thing that an electrician could resolve, because the ghost makes the appearance simply by turning on the light of the hood vent. So I think it used to be the light of the hood vent, but now it's like turns on the hood vent to the low setting. So I'll wake up mornings and I'll just hear like a and I'm like, was like, did we cook something last night? Did we leave it on, or is the ghost back? And I'm not sure. And I told the ghost, I said, thank you for coming. We're happy that you're here. We're a happy family now. Thank you for taking care of this house. You can go on to your next journey. Go on to what's next in your world, ghost. I did it. And so far, I still wake up and so I think I may look into the electrician because I'm not sure.
Jim Mora, he says they're good ghosts, but I want you to put that on the poll, please, at LeBatard Show. Is it a ghost or something the electrician needs to fix?
Yeah, it says here his house. He loves the location, the connection to the campus community, and the 6-minute walk of a commute. But there's a spooky soundtrack of doors that open at night, ominous shadows, and unexplained noises. Quote, I'm convinced it's haunted.
Isn't everything in Connecticut haunted?
Put it on the poll, Guillermo, at LeBatard Show.
Question.
Isn't everything in Connecticut haunted?
Why aren't we having Jim Mora on, though? I mean, he lives in a haunted house with friendly ghosts.
We'll put the call out.
But why can't you just like settle for an 8-minute walk? You know what I mean? Like just walk 2 extra minutes to not live in a haunted house.
They're friendly, though.
Like I guess 6 is fine.
He didn't say friendly. He just said good.
Okay,
He didn't. I don't know if they're friendly ghosts.
Casper's not there.
I would do a lot. I could stomach a lot for a 6-minute commute. A 6-minute walk to work every day. I could stomach
Ghosts?
a lot.
Oh,
That's not.
I take a 30-minute drive.
I would stomach ghosts. I would stomach ghosts for a 6-minute walk.
What about a ghoul? Where's the line for you?
I don't know about that.
What's the difference between a ghost and a ghoul?
Big difference.
What's the difference?
Look it up.
Well,
Yeah,
okay, thank
yeah.
you, but I was asking
what's
you.
the difference between
I
a
wasn't
ghoul and a
asking you to
goblin?
then look it up. What is the difference?
Goblin.
Papi,
You ain't scary nut.
who was that?
Tony just wants to sing apparently in the corner. I don't know what's going
No,
on.
my microphone got turned on at a unfortuitous time.
Tony and I were doing a bit.
Yeah.
The audience will know.
Right.
It is time for Winning Wednesday. Papi, are you ready for Winning Wednesday?
I'm never ready anyhow, so.
All right, what difference does it make? That's the kind of enthusiasm I was hoping for as we
Never
go
ready.
into Winning Wednesday, Papi. Do you understand what we need to do? Does this music inform you on what needs to be done here? What needs to be done?
I gotta make a prediction, I guess, right?
What needs to happen on Winning Wednesday, Papi?
Somebody gotta win.
That's right,
That's
Papi.
right.
That is
Winning
the
needs
correct
to happen,
answer.
yes.
Somebody has to win. So Tony is here, and he stinks at this, Papi.
That's unfair.
Is it unfair?
Yes, it's absolutely
I mean,
unfair.
he's responsible for one of our winning parlays.
Thank you.
So
And he had the lock of the century, I think.
That hit, yeah, the
Doesn't
Angels
matter,
over the
yeah.
A's in 12 by 1.
No, it was some MMA
Almost.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that was the lock of the millennium.
Oh.
That's why you said century. I was thinking
This
the
is
Angels
the
game.
thing, okay? And this is why this is flawed, and I'm worried for gambling companies getting in business with us.
We're doing well for them. We're just
Yes,
giving them
yes,
money.
It's yes.
They
With our
want us to
horrible
lose,
picks,
Dan.
we're doing nothing but helping.
They love us.
Okay, you know what? Fair enough.
Best partners ever.
Fair enough. But we keep coming on here, and when the lock of the century, he's waving it around as Dan, don't tell me I'm a loser. Listen to me. I gave you the lock of the century, and the Angels beat the Guardians in extra innings by a run.
They had it the whole time, though,
it's
Dan.
like it's not a lock of the century, and then he goes to Millennium.
Had to
This is
sweat
not.
it out.
The
Yeah,
point is, this is not going well, and we need to fix it.
For DraftKings, it is. Again, a reminder. For us, not so
All right, well, let's
Yes.
do better, right? Papi, you're.
I don't know if we want to do better.
We do. Papi, I want Papi to break DraftKings because what are we here to do today, Dad?
We gotta find a winner.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Papi.
That's right. That's Papi. You got it. So, Tony, where are we? And are we fading your picks in a phony? Is that because this has been our gambling advice? Hey, listen to our expert, Tony. We're going to go against what he's saying.
Yeah, Dan, but I'm on a hot streak, obviously, as we know.
Yeah,
and
you are.
I'm really hot on the Marlins. I know they're on a 3-game skid. I know they're playing the Rays, a little
God,
interstate
no.
rival. But Dan, do you know who's on the bump tonight for the Fish?
No.
Who say it?
Neither do they. It's undecided at the moment.
Oh, wow.
And I love that. No game plan, no film on undecided. You don't know who's coming out. Is it
Can't plan
Sandy?
for
Is it
undecided.
Pablo? Is
You're
it the
right,
other guy?
yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so that's the last trick in the book for Billy's beloved Marlins is you know how we're going to beat you tonight? You're going to get to the game, and we're going to be
No
undecided.
game plan. Nothing you can do.
How are you going to plan for us? We are undecided.
And so the Marlins run line plus 1.5 is minus 125. As a result, we'll be taking the Tampa Bay Rays minus 1.5.
Foolish. It's foolish.
Plus 105 is our first leg of the parlay. Our second leg of the parlay will come courtesy of Jessica Smetana. There is a big contest in the WNBA playoffs tonight. Jess, what do you have?
The
for us?
dub.
Contest, it's a game.
It's the semifinals of the WWE playoffs. It's the Aces and the Storm. Game 1 ended in very exciting fashion, only a 3-point margin. And for some reason, the Aces are -5.5 or -5, I believe.
Yeah, no,
right now.
5.5.
5.5. So I think we're gonna pick the Storm, unless you're fading me, and then we're gonna pick the Aces.
Well, no, we can't fade Jessica. How do we do this? Because this is
You can fade me.
we've got one part phony, and that's one part of the bet. But we have to, if you Jessica, if we can get this audience to care about women's sports, you know how we do it? By winning them money.
Yes.
By winning. If Jessica can find us little secrets.
Not sure if I like
Little secrets in the kingdom.
Right. They should be into it anyway. You're right,
They
Jess.
should be.
Yes,
They
right.
should be, but that's not what's happening
I
here.
mean, this is Sue Bird's final run. I mean, and it's been
Exactly.
exciting. I've been watching some of it.
ESPN Daily also did a great episode on Kelsey Plum and her breakout season this year.
She's good.
Uh-oh. Are the chickens coming back out?
God damn
The
it.
chickens are coming back. I knew it.
chicken time.
I've been watching. I've been watching them. Tremenda muela. Tremenda muela. Wait a minute. Hold on. Tremenda muela. Hold on.
Watch
Hold on.
highlights.
That should be Refran del Dia. Papi, define for the audience who yelled that. Tremenda muela.
That
That
was
was Lewis.
Anthony. That was
I
Anthony.
don't. That
right?
was a chicken.
Yeah.
It sounded like a chicken to me.
Yeah, but it's a chicken disguised as Anthony. That's okay.
What does it
It
mean?
was a Tony sounding chicken.
Tremenda muela is a lot of talk going on.
Dan, I don't know if you heard him too. He goes, "El tipo es tremendo dentista."
What does that
Laugh
mean,
at that,
Papi? What does that mean, Papi?
That guy is a great dentist.
Well, because a muela is like a
It's a
molar,
molar,
so
yeah.
it's also like a big lie, tremendo muela. So if he's a great dentist, he's dealing with a tremendo. It's layered.
All
Don't
right,
worry.
what are we deciding? That Jessica? Are we fading Jessica?
No,
Is it a Fessica?
We are sticking with her, or unless you like the sound of that. All right, we're sticking with Jessica's pick.
Yes.
We're gonna go for the Storm plus
It's a good
5.5.
pick. Yeah.
And we're gonna go for the Tampa Bay Rays minus 105 on the minus 1.5 on the run
Well
line, plus
put.
105.
Yes. Okay. An excellent pick
I'm
on behalf
spinning a lot
of
of plates
all
here,
of us.
Dan.
I
And
know.
the Rays
I-
and
Good
the
luck, everybody.
Storm. Is that it? Rays in the Storm?
I mean, we could do one more. One of our very own, Juju Gotti, is going to the Chicago Sky game tonight against the Connecticut Sun.
All right, Juju, help us out here. If you want to go, let's go. We're going to go a 3-team parlay here.
Have you been watching that series? It's been a classic. Dan, I'm asking you. Have you?
I have not
Yo,
been.
chicken time.
Those are the chickens.
You're adding nothing to this conversation.
Dan, we're gonna stick with the two legs here on the parlay.
Really?
Yeah, we try and keep the odds relatively low, because it allows us to have a boost, and so we'll go for the 2-leg parlay of the Storm and the Rays.
I'm sorry, Juju, that that was done to
Just
you.
for funsies, what would Juju's pick have been?
Yeah.
Two Americas.
Oh.